They're turning the world into a snitch society. I mean, they're looking at China and taking that whole blueprint, that oppressive blueprint, authoritarian blueprint, and then bringing it to the rest of the world. This is just one example. More launches app to report bad behavior. The public now has an anonymous avenue to report bad behavior on school children. This is like this reminds me of the those review apps that people have on the internet, like to review um, restaurants and places like that, and give them stars and reviews and that sort of thing. And it seems like a good idea, but then it becomes a bad idea when people are assholes. Not everybody's an asshole, but people are assholes sometimes. They might be having a bad day, you know, and just something happens in the restaurant or wherever, and it might be a non-issue or not even a big deal, and then they go on the app and you know send their review in, which brings down the stars of the restaurant or place or whatever it is. Or people just write bad reviews for fun. There's a people say that technology is not good or evil, but it is how it is used. And technology is always, it's always been invented to do good. Always. I mean, that's the first. When you make something, you make it to help to improve life, you know. But then it's always used, you know, in negative ways. Well, this seems like a good idea, app to report children's bad behavior. Yeah, who? I mean, this is some good idea to me, but to to some people it might be a good idea. Um, but then it could be used for nefarious reasons. And it's school children, no, but imagine you know, when it's implemented on adults and on wider society, because this seems like an experiment. The COVID-19 pandemic is a big experiment. The 5G rollout is a big experiment. All these things, they're just experimenting on us, testing these things on us. I mean, Barbados is just it's up there with Israel. I mean, the experiments going on all around the world, but I mean, Barbados is just doing it. I mean, they trade out the freedom bracelets when the only other country that was doing it was Israel. They're now um, piloting the vaccine passports with IAT, IATA, sorry, and know they're trial running this thing. What happens when this system is implemented on us? This is you know because the key thing here is this is anonymous. People are reporting anonymously, and we know that when people don't have accountability, they essentially don't care and they do whatever they want. Look at what they're doing right now with these so-called vaccines, which are not vaccines. The vaccine companies are not liable, no accountability on their behalf, can't sue them in case of damages. That should have told people, well, if you can't, if there's no accountability on their part, why would you take something that someone is not going to be responsible for? You know, if it was a, if it, they had accountability, they would have provided, or at least tried to provide to the best of their ability, a good product. And if no people can report anonymously on school children, that's setting a bad precedent. It just turning us all into snitches. That's what the COVID pandemic did. It just turned neighbors against neighbors and family members against family members. If you're having a little party, the neighbors calling on you, you know, acting like the Gestapo and neighbors in Nazi Germany who reported their neighbors and their families to the authorities. This is not going to end well, especially if it's implemented to the wider public. I mean, this seems like social credit score. That's what it seems like. The social credit score of China is this. It's just in a small phase, small trial. Children behave bad because they're children. You know, it might not seem like bad behavior to them because they're young, energetic. When they're in the bus terminal, they talk a little loud and raucous, and because they're young, when they're on the bus, they talk loud and keep all the noise. That's just how children are. I'm not saying that's right, but that's how children are. Because that's how I was, and that's how you were. You know, Nobody gonna try to. It's like they're trying to control everything. Everything now must be controlled and manipulated and molded into what the authorities and the establishment wants. This this is not gonna solve the bad behavior. This is gonna set a dangerous precedent. And this, if it works, it might make children more conserved and um, keep them in that more anxious state that if they do something, someone might report them or keep that, it's just another way of extinguishing that fire, that energy that children have. If they're not doing, if they're not controlling them in the schools, as much as they want, they're gonna when school is over and they're with their friends and they're going home or going in town, it doesn't seem. I mean, they could. This is this is like this is just what is happening. No, people, you know, trying to fix the the symptoms and not the cause. That's just like with COVID-19, trying to fix the symptoms and not the cause. There are good medicines out there that would, that's what modern medicine and modern society has gone into, fixing the symptoms, giving you medication to fix the symptoms, but not fix the cause or fix the actual problem. When you're sick, they give you something to help with the symptoms, but they don't fix the actual problem. That's like, you have an autoimmune disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure or something like that. You go to the doctor. The doctor gives you medication to help with the symptoms, but he doesn't tell you how do you fix the problem. How do you fix the cause of the symptoms? Because that keeps you coming back and spending more money on medication and keeps you returning. And this is the essentially the same thing. This is trying to fix the symptoms and not the cause. Like trying to put a band-aid on a gunshot wound or something doesn't work. Makes things worse. And to me, this is gonna make things worse if children are behaving bad for whatever reason. This is gonna make things worse because children are rebellious and they tend to fight back more than adults will because adults have been through the machine and the process and the system already for a long period of time. And most of them are just NPCs, automatons, just running on fumes, essentially. They're just moving like robots. Just get up, go to work, come back home, you know, and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over without just thinking. They just run on autopilot. Children are different, spontaneous, energetic, free thinking. This is all just another way to break them down and break down that energy. This is the social credit system. They're trying to make it sound nice and dolled up, but this is just an app that you can get from the Play Store, the Apple Store, and if you see children doing something that you don't like, may not be a big deal, but if you're, the term is a Karen nowadays. If you're Karen and you just, you know, old and washed, and you don't like that you're old and washed, and you see the children lively and doing things that normal children would do, and you go on the app and you go anonymous and you go and snitch on them, and that's not good for society. But I mean, look around what they're doing. Nothing right now is good for society. They never look at the core problems of this so-called bad behavior. But I mean, they could deem anything bad behavior, as we all operating within their realm, so to speak. Like, look at what's happening now. The science, you know, the only science that is accepted as a norm is their science, not the science that says that masks don't work, and lockdowns kill people, and shutting down businesses, putting closing businesses don't work, and social distancing is nonsense. That science doesn't matter. The, everybody's in this cult mentality that whatever the cult leader says the science is the science, and anything outside that box is total nonsense and conspiracy theory. This just seems like another system of control. I mean, you're not controlling them enough. 6, 7 hours, 8 hours a day. How much is it in school? I mean that 7, 8 hours indoctrination is not enough. You need to police them in when school is over. This is, I mean, it's perfect, of course, what is going on right now, but this is probably gonna go forward. Probably gonna get accepted as norm as all the other wildly ridiculous things that they've pushed forward so far. Let the children be children, man. That's why that's why you're a child. That's why you have that time to be yourself, enjoy being young. It's like they wanna extinguish their fire as fast as possible. This is this is this is not good. This is not a good precedent. Because if they can do this to the children, they're gonna come for the adults next. Always does. Always does. Somebody's gotta be the guinea pig first. And if you're okay with your children being the guinea pigs, I mean, we're all doomed. The children now is is the adults tomorrow.